warlock knocks a small combination on the door and on the ceiling, sorry, and the coachman, who has stalwartly been sitting at his horse all night, having thought that this was an urgent an urgent call that he was rushing to pick somebody up, has found himself sitting there for 10 hours.
He left the meter running.
Well, he is paid by the hour, so he's not too concerned, and he knows.
So what's he complaining about?
He's not complaining about anything. He's I told you, he's stalwartly been there. Now, you take a short ride in the carriage, and you arrive at the carriage pulls into a like a garage, a stable area, not a stable area, a coach area. This is a rich house. It has a courtyard, and the entrance to the courtyard is there's a house over the top, and the courtyard is like beyond it, and the coach pulls into the area that is the entrance to the courtyard, but not in the courtyard. There is a house above you. The warlock says, "We have arrived. I should tell you that this is a secret location, and please do not share anything that you learn here with anybody who may be of any danger. In fact, with anybody," he says, thinking. He leads you out of the carriage and through a small door just next to it, and up a small flight of stairs, and you come to a room. Now, in this feels like a lobby. This room is not a big room. This seems like a place where people might hang their coats. In fact, there are many cloaks hung on the wall just next to you.
What type of cloaks?
Cowls.
Can I have one?
Oh, most certainly. The warlock says before you enter the room, you must wear a cowl to hide your identity. Nobody in this room knows who anybody else is. We must keep it that way. We must keep it that way to prevent any of our enemies. If one of us becomes he considers corrupted, then
so it's like a secret society.
I can't hear you. This is a secret society, yes. He asks, "Please, would you put on these cowls?" So you all put on a cowl, as long as you're all happy with that. Polton as well.
Yep. Polton happy with that?
Oh, Polton's definitely happy with that. He knows these people. He doesn't want them to know who he is.
Cool.
And all four of you approach the door. Now the warlock says there is a spell cast upon this room. As beyond this door, you will be inside a circle of truth. No lies may be spoken in this room.
All right.
Okay, and you enter this room. Now, poor old Matthew.
Carry Pratchett at the moment.
Yeah. Dragon.
Yeah.
No, they're not chanting your name, Dre. This is a reference to a book by Terry Pratchett.
We lost audio for a minute there.
Okay, so the four of you have entered the room.
All right.
Now, this
I will come to the empty seat, if possible.
Before you do that, the wizard that you see standing just near you, one of the door closes. One of the council members in their cowls says, "Wingway, make sure that we're alone." Wingway casts I've forgotten what it's called. Play amongst yourselves. It's fairy fire, isn't it? Wingway casts fairy fire. Now, fairy fire, so that you all know, it only lasts up to a minute, but each object in a 20-foot cube within range is outlined in blue, green, or violet light, which is the choice of Wingway. It's going to be blue. Any creature in the area when the spell is cast is outlined in the light if it fails a dexterity saving throw. For the duration, objects and creatures shed dim light. So basically anything that's invisible in the room will be outlined in a blue light. If it's an object, and creatures would have to save a dexterity throw to overcome it. That's a 60-foot range, so that takes in the entire room. It does last only up to a minute, but Wingway might recast it multiple times. We'll see. Would be nice if there was a way of him casting it at a higher level and making it last longer. Really, I mean that would be a good game mechanic for them to introduce. But hey, it's not up to me to question the mighty Perkins or what's his name? Come on, you forgot it last time. I had it earlier.
Matt.
What?
Am I able to cast a spell to basically understand everybody in the room a little bit better?
I don't know, what spell do you want to try and cast? These guys don't seem to want you to understand them. I mean, it would be a little bit rude. That these guys are going to tell you they're going to tell you some stuff. If you start casting spells at them now, it might interrupt that. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. What spell would you like to cast?
I'm just looking at my character sheet. Hold on. Let me see what I got.
I'm going to tell you now, you don't have a spell which would allow you to understand the people in the room any better. No more than fairy fire allows you to see things that are invisible.
Seems I can cast a Zone of Truth myself.
Yeah, you can cast Zone of Truth too.
It's a bit pointless. It's already there.
Would be pointless considering you're already in a Zone of Truth.
Can I cast my Protection from Evil and Good spell?
You can if you wish, yeah. There's
It is a
there are
touch
probably other
spell,
people
though.
in this room who have cast similar spells upon themselves.
It is a touch spell, so could I touch Charlie's character and Dre's character and use that spell on them both?
If you
At
want to
what
cast,
level?
it depends how many times you want to cast it and how many times you're able to cast it within a short rest period. This is why you need these cards.
It says time 1A and then it says effect buff.
It's one action.
Rain.
You want to
That's
put it on all of them.
Just on Dre and Charlie's character.
Okay, I'm going to say that you can do that.
So I just press on my thing, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to cross off 2 of your spell slots. What level spell is it? It's a
Level 1.
To metagame, I wouldn't be quite so spell happy.
yeah. The thing
We don't know
is
how.
with spells is
We
you
don't
have
know
a
how
limit.
long until the next.
Yeah, you
short
don't
rest.
you don't know how long it's going to be before you can rest again. And if you use all your spells now, then they're used. And you can't.
That's okay. I want to cast this spell because I don't know what we're walking into.
Okay,
So I just want to protect my
that's fine.
fellow teammates.
To be honest, paladins don't need to rely too heavily on spells. Lay on hands is, for example, is not a spell. It's just an action, isn't it?
Cantrip.
It does
It's
have
not even a
paladin written
cantrip.
next-
It's an ability.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No.
In fact,
Well,
not
I've
paladin. Yeah,
got
paladins
most
don't have
myself
any
up-
cantrips.
I don't know.
No,
I haven't played as a paladin yet.
no.
Might do that next time.
Paladins have no cantrips, but you can. But you do have lay on hands as just a feature. Divine sense is also a feature. Yep. So divine sense allows you to sense good and evil. You don't need to cast a spell to do that. You can just do that whenever you feel like it. When you cast lay on hands, that allows you to give people hit points back. So it allows you to heal people, but you have a pool of those hit points that you can draw from. You've got apparently 84. You have a pool that can restore 25. Oh no, only 25, not 84. It's page 84 of the player handbook. As an action, you can touch a creature to restore any number of HP remaining in the pool, or 5 HP to either cure a disease or neutralize a poison affecting the creature. Okay. Regain that
That
pool.
per short rest or long rest?
Long rest. So you can
Long
only
rest, cool.
regain the pool of HP from your lay on hands from a long rest. So again,
That's okay.
be sparing with it. There's only 25. Now, one of the council members, you've heard of these people referred to as the Council of Nine. As you can see, there's 9 people there. One of them says, "We have been waiting long."
Cool. I tap Pelton on the shoulder and say, "You're with me. You two, can you guard the door, please?"
Sure, will do.
No worries.
Cool.
Cheers.
There you
I subtly say to Dragon as well. Also, there's a chest up there. See if you can find out what's in it.
Yeah,
Wingway
of
casts
course.
hold
Okay.
creature
On
on
Polton. Sorry, can't come with me to the table.
Well, you've just commanded him to go and investigate this chest, which obviously.
No,
doesn't
I
belong
didn't
to
say
you.
that to Polton.
Oh, I thought who did you say it to?
Dragon.
Dragon. Well, regardless, so you're not going to be able to go and investigate this chest. Wingway's going to stop.
Well, I asked him if he could. And so far, all he's done is go over to the door.
Dragon replies,
A room full of people.
All I asked him to do is go over to the door, and then, if he gets the chance, see what's in the chest.
Yeah, all right.
you may find that you have access to the chest later just by going through.
Yeah, I know. I might.
Going through the game.
I might.
You might, but you just want to
might.
break the game, don't you, Charlie?
No.
You feel your instrument suddenly take control of your body. A voice speaks in your head and says, "Shut the fuck up."
Walks over. Fair enough. Christopher walks over to his to the spare table.
To the spare chair.
Taking Polton with him. Yeah, spare chair. Polton coming with him.
Okay.
As his aide. Just before he sits down, he puts his instrument of unknown origin on the table. It's definitely not a guitar.
There is a hush.
As he puts it on the table, he says, "Hello, my name's Chris. I'm an alcoholic." Sits down.
To which he hears a giggle come from the hallway.
Wingway reminds you. Oh no, the cowled figure on your right reminds you that we do not speak names in this room.
Said, "Oh, sorry.
And please don't
I'd say my name isn't Chris, but I'm surrounded by this.
No, you can't lie.
So I can't really take it back."
You can't lie. He also says, "Please don't ask anyone their name because they'll be forced to give it to you." One of them
Cool.
says.
So do I still need this cowl?
One of them
Seeing
says,
as everyone knows my name now.
One of them says, "We are here to discuss the sign and instructions we have received from our master. We all know about the blight that has affected this city. Dran Enterprises. It was not long ago that we held complete sway in this city. The open lord of the city was one of our number. The masked lords of the city, the secret lords, they were also of our number. And we understand that Omin Drans was one of the masked lords of the city." He's saying this for your benefit, Charlie. Christopher.
Yeah.
Omin Drans was one of the masked lords of this city. And then one day he disappeared. And then one day he returned. And he was different. He no longer appeared to act in the interests of the city, but rather in the interests of Dran Enterprises. As we started to realize that members of the ruling class of Waterdeep, the masked lords, and possibly even the open lord, were being corrupted, controlled, or, as is more likely, we have discovered, replaced by facsimiles created using high-level magic, either the clone spell or the true polymorph spell.
Do we know how many?
We attempted to interrogate an Omin Dran. We brought him to what we assumed was a secure location, and we prepared him for interrogation. Wingway was just about to arrive. In fact, as he arrived, he cast fairy fire to make sure that the room was clear and saw that the room was being screed upon. At that moment, we knew that we were compromised. Wingway, in his wisdom, evacuated everybody from that building as quickly as possible. 15 minutes later, that building was ash.
Oh no.
Not by our doing. We believe the Omin Dran was incinerated along with the building. You see now why we require such secrecy. We are spied upon from the air. The Dran Enterprises controls a number of airships that patrol the skies around Waterdeep. We believe they control at least half, if not most, of the police force.
Oh no.
And it is only through spies that we have the information that we have now. Interestingly, it seems that last night, or yesterday, there was a fight and an Omin Dran was killed. This Omin Dran...
Which one?
Well, one of the replacements, we assume.
How was it?
We are unsure of how many replacements there are. This is not known to us. If they're being created using the clone spell, it would be hard to see how that could be done. Creating multiple clones of an individual would be very high magic indeed. It could be that this is a true polymorph spell, and that these are merely imps or even straw men turned into facsimiles of Omin Dran and commanded. But what we do know is that there must be a wizard of exceptionally high level creating these facsimiles, and it is clear that he is doing this, or she is doing this, or they are doing this in support of Dran Enterprises' attempt to take over this city. Now, last night we received word that there had been a fight and an Omin Dran had been killed. But the interesting thing about this was that the report states that the fight took place between two Omin Drans. And this fight took place in, and as the person says it, Poltin says at the same time, Troll Skull Alley. Poltin turns to the camera and says, Perkins, now you Crawford as well, why do you keep blowing up my home? Rummins, you better not get any ideas. He turns back to the room and says, "I know what happened to the original Omin Dran."
Do tell.
It was a secret. I had to keep it a secret because it was basically a bank job that a friend of mine was involved in. She was employed by Acquisitions Incorporated to try and rob a bank called Dragon's Hold, that's hidden behind a apothecary. And when they broke into the vault, they activated an interplanar device that dragged them out of this plane. It was only through intervention of Asmodeus that my friend was kept upon this plane. Her name's Strix. She's the great granddaughter of Asmodeus.
Oh.
At least she thinks she is, and indeed, Asmodeus referred to her as his daughter. So you can't shake it from her now. She's just convinced.
She's a
But that was when Omin Dran disappeared, and that was 2 years ago. Now
Where's Strix?
Strix is in, or at least was in Troll Skull Alley. If you ask me, I think that Omin Dran has returned to this plane, and he has gone directly back to Strix to meet her in Troll Skull Alley. And that's why he was there when this fight went down. I don't know why the fight would have occurred, but I know that some part of my house is going to have been blown up. Because this happens in every story.
So,
Poor
Christopher turns to the rest of them, sort of strums on the unnamed instrument. Well, sorry, named instrument of unknown origin. Sort of strums on it a bit. Says, so a couple of questions. One, what's in the box? And two, seeing as Pelton knows the way, do you mind if we scoot off to Troll Skull Alley?
I know what's in the box.
The
Schrodinger's cat.
Might be Dre's cat. That's all that's in the box, Charlie. It's Dre's new familiar. No,
What's in the box?
I'm joking. The council say in the box is contained whatever accoutrements you may need. Once we've concluded this discussion, it would be foolish if we are correct and this Omin Dran is the original, then we know that he was arrested on the spot for killing a masked Lord of Waterdeep, for which the punishment is either death or life imprisonment. We know that he was taken from this place and taken to the Ice Castle to be imprisoned for life. Now we have two options here. We can try to break Omin Dran out, which would seem pointless since he's already been he's currently an enemy of the people. Before we do anything, we know where Omin Dran is, if this is the real Omin Dran. What we need to do is identify the wizard who is creating the duplicates, who is one by one replacing all of the leadership of this city, because breaking Omin Dran out would They all agree. Yes, if we break him out now, the leadership of the city would just simply place him under arrest again. They control the whole police. They control the skies. They control
Do we
everything.
have any leads on the wizard?
We assume, they say, that the wizard is either located within the enterprises of Dran Enterprises and inside the holdings of Dran Enterprises and Acquisitions Incorporated within the city, and we know some inside information because we have somebody, a spy working for us at a very low pay level in the company, who has told us that
You have a bellhop.
Sorry? Bellhop.
You have a bellhop.
Is that a hotel?
He says we have a secretary.
You have a receptionist.
He thinks about it and says we have a receptionist. This receptionist has let us know that that Dran Enterprises is intending on an expansion starting today. They are offering internships in the company. They are also offering to sell franchises of the company. Now, as we understand, an internship would have you working within the building itself, but you would be a very low level person were you to infiltrate the enterprise this way. On the other hand, you could pay highly to buy a franchise of the business, which would allow you...
Sorry, to buy you cut out there.
To buy a franchise of the business, which would allow you to set up your own... would as we understand it, give you access to information about the locations of various wondrous artifacts and quests that have been sequestered by Dran Enterprises. But if you were to buy a franchise, you would be expected to go to a different location to set up that franchise. It seems to me, says one of the crowd, that it would make more sense to attempt to rise quickly within the organization to a point where one could gain access to more information. Eventually, maybe we could learn the identity of this wizard, and he pauses and says, "Take care of them." Yeah, one of the others says, "Yes, once the wizard is removed, we can move our forces, as we have before. We've kidnapped an Omin Drans. We can move our forces very quickly to assassinate every one of the clones or replacements, whatever they are, in tall order, and retake this city. But while that wizard is still able to A, replace these people, and B, apparently C, locations that these people are in, by screeing. Screeing, as we understand it, requires you to know the person that you are screeing on, or at least have an understanding of them or where they are. We need to remove this wizard. Once we remove the wizard, once we identify the wizard and remove him, we can take back control of this city. We can release Omin Drans from prison, and he can take back control of Acquisitions Incorporated. But until that wizard is neutralized, no actions that we take will have any consequence. Polton turns to the camera and says, "These guys are not coming to Troll Skull fucking Alley." Turns back to you guys and says, "Look, I know exactly what's going to happen if you guys come to Troll Skull Alley. My house is going to get blown up again. Alright?"
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
"It will not be fine," says Polton. This is a zone of truth. You've got to tell the truth here, Dre. You know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Says Polton.
He believes it to be the truth.
Yeah.
Once again, yes, because Dre has a passive intelligence of 10 and an insight of 1.
Yeah, he thinks it's true.
Yeah, well, his persuasion is -1, so Polton's having none of it.
I am useless in this scenario.
But Polton metagames you. It just gives you a wink and says, "Look, my fucking character, my house has been blown up by dungeon masters all over the fucking world. If you bring this rummins to my fucking house, I am going to be pissed off."
Alright, sorry, where did we say Omin Drans was?
Omin Drans is in prison in the frozen castle.
Where?
The frozen castle is just outside the city. He's imprisoned in the frozen castle.
Imprisoned in the frozen castle.
Yes, it's got a longer name than that, but
what are the visits?
I'm afraid I've forgotten the.
What are the visiting hours?
The people look back and forward to each other and say, "He's imprisoned on a life sentence. He gets no visitors. He gets bread and water."
Who gives him the bread and water?
One of them turns to you and says, "What is your plan?"
Ask him who the wizard is.
Wingway says, "If we are to believe Polton, and we have no reason not to, we know that Omin Drans left this plane 2 years ago. It wasn't until a year ago that we started noticing replacements. There is no evidence or indeed any notion that he would understand who or what has done this."
Have two of them ever fought before?
Well, Dran Enterprises is owned by Omin's sister. Omin Drans owns Acquisitions Incorporated, and Dran Enterprises is owned by, I think it's Auspicia Dran, or is it Portentia?
Yeah, I do. Alright, mate. Right, I'm going to jump downstairs, guys. Sorry, 2 seconds.
That's all right.
Ha! I win. Go make tea.
Okay.
Now, I've discovered a great way of getting around copyright, which is to actually play the songs myself. This is my new Fender, Dre.
Oh, show me.
Yeah, Charlie.
Oh,
You
sorry,
back
mate.
online?
Yeah, back in the room.
Well, I'm gonna go make
As long as I can find my cigarettes.
the phone with me,
Okay.
but I'm still gonna be in and listening to the story.
Alright, you
Right,
are
hang on,
going to be
what's-
silent, Dre.
Charlie.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic anyway. Well, my mic's mute.
Okay, so Charlie,
Yep.
Omin Dran, or Ominifus Hereford Dran, was the owner of Acquisitions Incorporated, and his sister, Auspicia Dran,
Yeah.
is the owner of Dran Enterprises.
Right.
Now, Dran Enterprises, up until very recently, they've always been in competition with businesses.
Yeah.
And there was always a suggestion that perhaps Dran Enterprises was a bit better run, more cannily led. But this idea was whitewashed over very quickly by Omin, and very minutely written into the contracts of everybody who worked for him that they were not allowed to praise Dran Enterprises in any way. He was upset when he discovered that his sister Portentia had died, but he did raise her back to life again. That was a long time ago, though.
Right.
He is a
How
cleric.
did he raise it back to life? Was with necromancy?
No, he's a cleric. So he has the ability to raise the dead. As long as he has enough components of the person. For example, a piece of their body at least. And a willing soul that's able to return to the body.
So a shoe and a leg.
He also has access to the network of churches of Timora, who is lawful giver of light. But neither this is here nor there, says one of the people. We're getting sidetracked. The question is, how are we going to eliminate this this wizard? Obviously a very high level wizard. Now what we have, he says, gesturing to the box, the chest.
Ah, good. That was the question.
He says what we have is a scroll of I've forgotten what it's called now.
Scroll of forgetfulness.
No, yeah, exactly. You know what this spell's called, Charlie. Zone of anti-magic field. Anti-magic field.
Yep.
If you identify this wizard and approach him, you may use this scroll to incapacitate him long enough to either remove him, kidnap him, or in some other way incapacitate him. As soon as you do that, Wingway will send us a sending spell. Wingway, one of the one of the cowled people looks very proud. He says, Wingway is one of our most trusted wizards. He was the one that rescued our people from the building when it was seen that the Omin Drans was being screed upon. And although he's been well educated and given full access to the libraries of the aristocracy of Waterdeep, which contain many magical books, many magical texts, and I would put his powers up against the Black Staff at any day. Wingway looks a little bit embarrassed at this. The Black Staff of Waterdeep is the chief wizard.
Right.
Wizards in Waterdeep are required to, or magic users in Waterdeep are required to register themselves to the City Watch, and if there is ever an attack on the city or something like that, then they form part of the magical resistance, and that magical resistance is led by the Black Staff.
What else is in the box?
In the box is enough money for you to open a franchise, indeed enough money for you to buy whatever you may need before approaching Dran Enterprises, if you do intend to open a franchise. But before you do...
Anything else?
Before you do anything... yes. It contains many spell components that some of you may need. And it contains a scroll of sending. But mainly it contains a lot of money which you may use to purchase any other items that you may need. We thought that these two items, the scroll of sending and the scroll of magic, anti-magic field. Now I've got feedback. That's gone. We thought these would be things you would definitely need, but anything else you wish to purchase, we will.
What's with the random circle in the top left?
It's at this point that's supposed to be invisible. Why is it not invisible? It should be invisible. Bloody hell.
Dre's phone just
okay, well,
just put it on charge.
Ignore it.
Okay. I don't know that exists. Alright, cool.
Well, it doesn't exist yet.
Put it on charge.
Hang on, Matt.
Okay.
Sorry, Kayla.
Dre's phone just died, so he's just put it on charge.
That's all right.
Cool.
Well, you two are defending the door, and so nobody's coming in or out.
Yeah, Christopher turns to the wizard. Hang on.
This is Wingway. Wingway Helmstein, he announces to you. The Helmsteins are an old family of Waterdeep. They used to have much more power when the old Open Lord of Waterdeep was around, but the old Open Lord was voted out by the masked lords, the hidden lords of Waterdeep, and a new Open Lord has taken over. And since then, the power of the Helmstein family, who have got a good background in in fighting, martial stuff. They've protected the city on many occasions from, most recently, a invasion of I've forgotten what they were. It was a recent invasion, but now the Helmsteins don't have so much power in the city, but they do have just as much wealth as they used to have. Now, I'm going to give you some background on Wing. I'm going to give you some background on Wingway, because he is in the zone of truth spell, and you've directed a sort of question to him. He is the third son of Lord and Lady Helmstein. What'd you say?
I haven't yet. I've tried to.
Yeah, I thought. Well, I thought you did.
All I did was turn to him.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you asked him something.
Yeah. I was about to.
Okay, I'm sorry. I anticipated your actions in response to the story that I've written, and I should try not to do that, because it's you should have just as much freedom in writing this story as I do.
Yeah. So I turn to Wingway and say, "Hello. I'm glad we're the only two people in here with names, apparently." Everyone else sworn to secrecy.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we give all of the contents of the box to my paladin, please?
Ooh, to me.
Wingway says, "Wingway, what you see is because of the fairy fire that is glowing.
Yeah.
You see that Wingway is carrying a satchel, but that satchel is invisible."
Right. Ah.
But you can see it because of the fairy fire that's cast on the room and being continuously recast by Wingway somehow. I find it very stupid that you can't use a higher spell slot to cast fairy fire for longer than 1 minute. I'm going to say that each member of the council is casting
it, yeah.
fairy fire every couple of minutes to make sure there are no invisible creatures or orbs which could be used for screening.
Mm-hmm.
Wingway says the contents of the case is very heavy. I have a very precious item, a bag of holding, which I can store everything in. And the council members say yes, it would be. We would be more happy with the idea of Wingway carrying the adventuring goods, considering we have only just met you. You are
Considering I've only just met you, I'd be happier to have my paladin holding that.
You strummed your guitar earlier. It didn't do anything, but at this point you feel a pull from it.
Right.
You feel the guitar is trying to take control of you. Now, what would you like to do, Charlie? Would you like to fight this? You can roll percentile dice to fight the guitar's influence on you, or you can...
I'll submit to the unnamed instrument.
Very well. Now, Charlie, I've found a great way of getting around copyright, which is to play the songs myself. Charlie, you leap onto the table. Holton just sort of like chimes in as well, just makes
Good man.
Makes
Yeah. Give us some backup, Holton.
Yes, exactly, yeah. The guitar casts mass suggestion. If you're looking for trouble, I'm the man to see. If you're looking for satisfaction, it's satisfaction guaranteed. I'm as cool as a body on ice, hotter than a rolling dice. Send you to heaven, take you to hell. I ain't fooling, can't you tell? I'm a live wire, live wire, I'm a live wire. Polton's doing the backing vocals. I'm a live wire. Gonna set this town on fire. The crowd are stunned, just as the previous crowd was, but this one seems to be able to control itself. The only person that seems to have survived the mass suggestion is Wingway, but the guitar doesn't seem to like this, so it casts it again. If you need some loving, if you need some man, you got the phone and the number. I've got no future plans. Oh, come on, honey, you got nothing to lose. You got the thirst, I got the booze. I'll give you an inch, take you a mile. I'm gonna make you smile. Paul says I'm a live wire. You go, live wire, I'm a live wire. I'm a live wire. Gonna set this town on fire. Wingway seems convinced. You just lower the volume. You look each one of the people surrounding you in the eyes, one by one. You start to accelerate. You got their attention definitely. Cooler than a body on ice, hotter than a rolling dice, wilder than a drunken fight. You're gonna burn tonight, 'cause I'm a live wire, live wire, I'm a live wire, I'm a live wire. Holy smoke and sweet desire. The room seems satisfied.
I turn to Wingway and say, Polton, I hope at this point has joined me up on the table.
Polton was your wingman the entire time, but he didn't jump onto the table.
Alright. I jump back down next to him then.
Okay. You can do that yourself,
Yep.
can you?
There we go. Yeah. We both look at Wingway and say, we're on a mission from God.
Wingway says, I understand.